Hello guys, welcome to lesson 3 in CICN 102. In this lesson we are going to learn how to write conditional algorithm and the different types of conditional operators and operators. So let's get started. The condition operation, it determines whether or not a condition is true and selects the next step to do. So if the condition is true, it will execute expression 1. If the condition is false, it will execute expression 2. What are conditional operators? They are tools that help to decide whether the condition is true or false. First, the conditional operation. There are two types of conditional operations, sequential and nested if. The sequential operation, as we can see, we write if and it's the condition, and then in the red part we write the body of the if condition. So let's see how the program runs this code. So first, we evaluate the condition. If the condition is true, it will go and execute statement number 1. Else, it will go and execute the rest of the code. Take a note that whether the condition is true or false, the computer will run the rest of the code. Then we have if and else. So let's see how the program runs this code. First, it will evaluate the condition. If the condition is true, it will execute statement 1. Else, which means the condition is false, it will execute statement number 2, and at last, it will run the rest of the code. Second, we have the nested if. As we can see, there is an if condition in the else part. So let's see how the program runs this code. So it will go to evaluate the first condition of the first if part. Let's say the condition is false. It will go to the else part, and then it will execute the second condition and evaluate it. Let's say this condition is true. So it will go and execute statement number 2. And at last, it will execute the rest of the code. We have something also called elif. Elif is the same as else if, but the difference is that we have combined the else with the if and we have wrote elif. The computer executes the code of elif the same way as the else if. Then we have two main types of operators, logical operators and comparison operators. First, comparison operators. We have 6 comparison operators. We have less than, and we can write x less than y. We have less than or equal. We can write x is less than or equal y. We have bigger than or equal to, and not equal to. Take a note that equal to in order to write it, we need to write 2 equal sign, not 1. Because 1 equal sign means that we assign a value to a variable, but 2 equal sign, we write it in a condition to evaluate if x is equal to y. Then we have the logical operators. We have and, or, and not. And or operate on multiple conditions. Also not operate on multiple conditions. Let's see. So if I have condition 1 and condition 2, so the or will output true if at least one of these two conditions is true and false otherwise. The AND operator will output true if both conditions are true and false otherwise. The NOT operator will output true if the condition or conditions are false, and it will output false if the condition are true. So let's take simple exercises to understand more the if conditions. Exercise number 1 says that write an algorithm that takes and is input an integer number and prints if the number is positive. So let's see. So we are going to take input a number. So eval input, enter a number. In order to know if this integer is positive or negative, so the integer number must be bigger than 0. So if x is bigger than 0, we are going to print positive. Let's try. Enter a number 5 and it's positive. So let's clear. Okay. So I know if a number is bigger than 0, it's positive, otherwise it's negative. So I'm going to write the else part and I'm going to print negative. Let's run. So if I have entered 4, I'm going to print positive. I printed negative 32, going to print negative. Let's clear. Okay, so I want to extend my code more. I know that if number is bigger than 0 is negative, it's smaller than 0 is positive, is negative, and if the number is equal to 0 it is 0. Or if x is bigger than 0 is positive, if x is less than 0 it's negative, otherwise it's equal to 0. How to write that? So we are going to use the nested if. So in the else part we are going to, if x is less than 0, I'm going to print negative, else I will print the number is equal to 0. Let's run. So I have entered 65, the number is positive. Run again. I have entered negative 65, the number is negative. I will enter 0, the number is equal to 0. Also, let's combine the else and if together and write like this. Elif x is less than 0, I'm going to erase this if condition. Okay, and this I have combined the else with the if with an elif. Okay, let's run and see. If I wrote the 0, the number is equal also to 0. Okay, this is for exercise number 1. For exercise number 2, write an algorithm that takes as input 3 positive numbers and prints their sum. So we need to take 3 inputs. So we have x and y equal eval input, enter second number, and z equal eval input, enter third number. But before I calculate the sum, I need to check if the 3 of these numbers are integers or are positive, sorry. So how I can do that? So I write if x is bigger than 0 and y is bigger than 0 and z is bigger than 0. Okay, I write sum equal x plus y plus z, and I will print sum. Otherwise, so it's the else part, I will print there is a negative number. So let's run and see. So if I enter 1, 2, and 3, the output will be 6. It's clear? If I have entered 1 and 2, but negative 3, it will output there is a negative number. Why did he do that? Because there is at least one negative number in order to go to the else part. So the AND operator, we must have all the conditions are true to output true. And this concludes lesson number 3.